delegation. It's great if you do it well. It stinks if you do it poorly. And it's horrible if you don't do it at all. Recently, I was working with a client, really smart guy, who had this tremendous work ethic, and he struggled with delegation. He liked to do everything himself. Yeah, he delegated some stuff to his employees, but not enough. And so he and I sat down, talked about the issue, and for him, luckily he recognized the issue that he had, and we developed a plan to overcome some of his concerns and also to improve his delegation techniques. I want to talk with you about a few points of the parts of the plan that he and I developed. First, mandate that your employees actually create a draft before they come to him with a solution. So in his situation, employees would come to him and say, hey, let's solve this issue, and he'd end up doing the work. Instead, he said, no, what I'm going to do is, if they don't come to me with a draft, I'm going to push them back to their office and say, hey, you got to come back when you've got a draft. You've at least got to have some kind of draft or outline of the solution. Don't just come to him asking for help. So that was one way that he helped his employees be more self-sufficient. Second, he had his employees lead team meetings. At first, he was leading all the team meetings, but then what he did was he had his employees lead the team meetings. What he found was his employees were communicating more, they were engaging more, and most importantly, they were taking more ownership in the meetings. And so what he found was they were so much more successful because he had more employee engagement. Third, accept imperfection. My client was somewhat of a perfectionist, and it was hard for him to say, okay, you know what? With all these items, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now, for the critical presentations, he would review things and make it just right. But for most things, they accepted imperfection. And what he found was he had greater participation rather than greater perfection. And that worked much more effectively for him. If you want to improve your delegation skills, go to coachingsolutions.com or look up David Rust on LinkedIn.